right. Welcome, everybody, to town hall meeting number 56. It's July 11th, 2023 today. And we're joined by a nice group. Let me quickly do some shout-outs. There's Fly, there's Alex, there's Chris, Judith, Kenichi, The Fresh DeFi, Tommy Frey, and Van E. Thank you all for joining. It's good to be back. I was in Geneva last week, so I couldn't join the town hall meeting, and well, pretty much any ambassador meeting for that matter. Did miss you guys. I'm happy to be back. So I guess let's dive right in. Short agenda would be starting out with the workgroup updates, and then there's a couple of mentions, ecosystem-wide, some announcements, let's say. And then there's room for open topics, including a quick touch on organizational memory and how we deal with that. And a quick reminder, or an intro for those new here or watching this on YouTube for the first time. The Ambassador Program is aiming to provide space for community members to join in on the fun and help spread the word on the SingularityNet ecosystem. And we do this by having a pretty big collection of self-organizing work groups. There's all kind of different topics. If you're interested, please join our Discord server and dive in and join in on the fun. Then that does bring us straight up to the workgroup updates. There's an overlapping meeting right now on deep funding awarded teams, which means that both Tefo and Felix are not around, which does impact quite a bunch of the work groups. However, there's a Discord channel with meeting updates. There you can find the latest on all the work groups. So for now, I'll skip on the process guild. I think it might even, it's not 100%. I'm waiting on confirmation, but there's a chance that today that won't take place because of Tefo being in that other meeting. Usually it takes place right after this call. And that brings us to the archival work group, and we're joined by Vanessa. Could you perhaps give a short update on what's going on?
Yeah, certainly. We've got a few things to share. First of all, we put in our archive group quarterly report, which I'll share in the chat in a second if people are interested to see kind of what we've been up to in the last quarter. And the things we've got to report, the meeting cadence is changing for our next meeting, and I can't unfortunately remember which way round it is. So hopefully somebody has changed it in the calendar and what is there is correct, but it will be then sticking on the same, because we're fortnightly, and so is it process? I'm not sure which one it is, but we've swapped anyway, so keep an eye out and we'll post in various channels in Discord so that people don't miss a meeting. In future, because the meetings have been a little bit badly attended, which is a bit of a shame, we've decided we're probably not going to include a practical session at the second half of the meeting anymore. So what we're thinking we want to do is produce some short videos on how, really like 2-minute kind of how-tos on the things we've been doing in the practical sessions, because we really want to pull in more people to come and do some archiving. It is more exciting than you think, and it gives you a really good overview of what's going on in the ecosystem. But the other thing that we're doing is we're focusing on the integration of archives with AI tooling. That we want to be our focus for the next quarter anyway. So this will mean that there will be more definite guidance on what to include in meeting summaries. Originally, we said to people, do it how you want and do it how it suits you. But if we want to use it the way that will help us to involve AI tooling, I think we'd probably realise that we need to be a little bit more prescriptive, but not much. So it goes against what we've said, which is a bit awful, but we're going to try to make our forthcoming guidance notes draw on the ways that people are doing it already, because we feel now that we've got a bit more of an understanding of how different groups are documenting themselves. So we aim not to make it onerous and to have a methodology that reflects the different ways that people are doing, but enable it to be used with the AI tooling for discoverability that we want to use. So yeah, come along and join a meeting and find out more if you're interested.
Good stuff. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I was just checking the meeting schedule, and it looks like the next one would be on for the 26th.
Yeah, that's what I think is right, but I'm not 100% that it is.
Okay. Yeah, there's the next one on the list, actually. The dwork PBL workshop is on the same slot, but alternating. But yeah, we'll make sure the public calendar simply is up to date and correct. Well, on the PBL work group, that was not around. There is a session tomorrow. Yes. And that's in preparation of coming Saturday, and I'm looking for the exact time. I think it's it's 16 UTC. There's a swarm session, Saturday swarm session on grassroots community governance, and I'll make sure to amplify that as well on Discord for those interested. But by lack of TEFO, for now, I won't dive deep into that work group. And unfortunately, the same goes for the process modeling workshop. It goes to show TEFO's impact. Next meeting for that will be tomorrow at 15 UTC. Basically, what that workshop is all about is analyzing the processes we have internally and trying to optimize those by modeling them, mapping out all the nitty-gritty details and optimizing things. Then next on the list would be the incubation workshop. I think
Yeah, I can take it away. Yeah.
Please.
Incubation met last Wednesday on the 5th. It was just a small meeting with me and Crandano. And our goals, considering what's going with the ambassador program right now, we're looking at how we can kind of stress test the ambassador program to seek out problems to be addressed. And essentially the goal of incubation as a work group is to incubate ideas to improve the ambassador program. So this week we've been working on a document, kind of trying to constructively look at problems within the ambassador program which we identify. So this will be a document shared probably this or next week with the community. Also part of that work is the other day I created an open anonymous feedback form for the program. So I'll put the link in the chat for you now. One sec. And yeah, this form is like part of our endeavor to really kind of open up the ambassador program. Now we've kind of like looked at the next quarter in terms of treasury and this kind of stuff. It would be great to kind of get the next wave of onboarding into the community. So any feedback is welcome, and we'll like constructively look at this. Yeah, incubation will meet tomorrow at 18 UTC, I think it is. Would be great to see that. And it's the first half of a 2-hour session, the second half being strategy. And take it away.
Just a small comment there. I think it's at 18 UTC, but correct. Oh, no. Okay, scrap that. 19. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought
I
I said 18 actually, but anyway.
Calendar says 19.
Oh, that's great. Nice. Thanks, man.
Tommy, behind the wheel, I see.
Yes, traveling to where we are in the world, there's been flooding, and there's a place called Sable Chasm, which with all the water should be phenomenal. So we're driving down to see it, but I digress. Strategy has taken off a week. 4th of July birthday party for American. We needed some downtime. We did in our closing project was reworking the budget, which was a community effort. And we had many meetings in different channels, and we had a vote last Monday culminating with a passage of a new budget and strategy for Q3 2023. It's a 3-month experiment. And I want to give kudos and great salutations to the entire community, and especially the ambassadors who essentially cut their compensation by roughly 88%. So that was a huge movement, and we did that recognizing with some of the new initiatives, we want to open up the community, bring more people in, but more importantly, with the new process, the new DWork process, anybody can put in a, basically anybody that's been involved in the community can put in a proposal, so to speak, to start a work group or some type of work session to help Singularity. So that's what we've been up to. And Fly just filled you in about what's going on and what's going to be coming up, and everything we can do to rock it and change and improve the ambassador program. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I imagine with the I think we'll talk more about the ambassador role change in a bit later during this call. Then next on the list is the Treasury Guild. This week, that meeting won't be taking place. There's overlapping calls again. It seems a recurring theme, but I guess that's what you get with, well, amassing quite a big list of calls. Sometimes there's overlapping stuff. I think today also rewards have been distributed. Let me quickly check. I'm not entirely sure. No, I think Treasury Guild's Discord channel is the best for latest updates right now. And yeah, that will continue in next week. Then I think Sugar and Spice, you are here. Would you mind sharing a bit about the onboarding work group? If you are able to speak. You are muted currently. I'll take that as not really able to speak right now.
Sorry, Peter, who was it you're asking to speak there? I didn't quite
Sugar
catch
and
the name.
Spice.
Oh, okay.
She's in charge of the onboarding work group.
Hello. Yes. Hi, everyone. So, onboarding work group. In our last meeting, we were able to develop a flow process for the onboarding, and we also decided that the Getting Started channel will contain everything new member needs to know in joining the ambassador program. And subsequently, we've sent out emails to applicants, invited them to the meetings, and we had someone join the video work group recently, and there's some progress there.
Good stuff. And well, based on what Fly was saying, I think there will be input coming from incubation into the onboarding work group tomorrow evening.
Great, that'll be great.
Thanks a lot. The next up is the video work group. I don't think Robo is here. It's not right now. Yeah, for this, with him not being around, I didn't join last week's session. Was anybody there and can perhaps share a little?
Yeah, last week's town hall. That was just 3 of us turned up, actually. It's maybe a consideration for Chris that like right now the program's kind of on holiday, it feels. I too well, I am quite surprised how many people take holiday at the same time, it seems. But it's great. It's actually great for the community to take breaks. But yeah, it was just a very small meeting. Like 3 of us turned up, and it was me, Tivo, and I can't remember her name, but she's quite new to the community, and we were basically having a casual question and answer with her, just bringing her into the community, answering all those little questions that seem too small to write in a message. Yeah, so it was a cool little meeting. Didn't really feel the need to record because it was so casual, but it was a nice little session.
All right. Yeah, that's a record-breaking low number for the last long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to go to summer holiday-ish situation. That's yeah, it's always quite a decline in engagement. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, Fly, I was just wondering, when is the next call or meeting of this nature?
Of which nature?
What you described, like the onboarding of new members.
Oh, actually, I think I'm being mixed up. I thought Peter was referring to last week's town hall, but the kind of meeting I'm talking about was the kind of off the wall, improvised, very casual meeting, because so few people turned up to that one. But if it's something you're interested in, it's like a very casual one-on-one, then that's great feedback for us that we can kind of perhaps with onboarding, or maybe even we can set up some like one-on-ones, one-on-twos. If you let us know your availability in the chat, I'm sure like one or multiple of us would love to join for this kind of meeting. I think for me especially, it's what I needed coming into this community, and what kind of set this apart from others is, yeah, these kinds of, yeah, quantum bonds or something.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you wish, I'm happy to share my Calendly in the link in the chat for you to take a look at and see if there's mutual availability. I mean, you know, I have some experience in this field, and there's potential that I can add some value, but it also depends if it's the kind of value that you're seeking as well. So, you know, if we have some kind of conversation, we can identify synergy. And if you find that what I have is of value to the community and to Singularity as a whole, then yeah, I'll be happy to take a look in and see what we can work together on.
Sounds great, dude. Yeah, we can definitely set that up and invite the community to come on board. Sounds great. Nice, Chris. Cool.
No worries.
Yeah, that topic in itself makes me, every now and then I think like we should just have like maybe a daily half an hour session where people know like, can just hop on, or maybe just not even scheduled, but more randomly hanging out on the voice channel would already do the trick.
Yeah, I consider that it used to happen a bit more than it does now, and I think like since we moved to Zoom a few months ago now, our engagement in the town halls has dropped, and it was one reason why we shifted, because over 25 and you can't have all the video features. So it's something we talked about last week, actually, that I would love to bring back as a motion to perhaps have one of these weekly meetings back on Discord, because I think it is kind of enabling osmosis between that and these other meetings.
I personally fully agree. Yeah, would be good, especially like a newcomer, low bar entry type of call.
Definitely.
Cool. All right. Then onto the writers' work group. Kenichi, can you share a little bit on what's going on?
Definitely. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good. All good.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we've been working on a few things last actually 2 weeks. So I would say first of all, with the article that went out today, let me get the link for that. I'll probably post it in chat. It's on our Town Hall 51, where we had our session with John Grove on Sophia Verse. So I've been working towards the ideation that we should also have, the way we have videos on Town Hall, there should be like a quick write-up that we can have on Medium for anyone that wants to read. So that article went out today. And also been working with the idea that we could also start, we have enough content now to work on our quiz sessions that we mentioned a couple of weeks back. So I was actually going to ask Peter if it was a good idea, because with the Scribblers, we figured Tuesday would be nice, probably before the town hall, to have a little bit of fun, learn a couple of things before the town hall begins and all. So yeah, I was thinking about that. One of the reasons why we couldn't start this week, especially with our Zilly too, is because I think TweetDeck was down for a while. So yeah, I just came back up today, and it is only showing the new version, but it's back to the previous version now. So yeah, because a couple of our, with our Zilly, if we have a new quest and the likes, most of our content will be going out on Twitter. So yeah, our Twitter came down and stuff. It's not really cool. Yeah. So, but yeah. So, and also apart from the quizzes, Zilly, I have shifted most of the quests on Zilly to SingularityNet ambassador program, like the Gmail itself. So I think Peter, you can probably log in with the Zilly.io Gmail, because it's asking for a couple of verifications. But I think only ambassadors are able to do that. So probably check that out. I think that's majorly all the updates we have here. The Scribblers are going to be moving forward with content to add to our Zilly, which will be essentially on our Twitter, and then we'll add it to our Zilly to gamify content for any community members or workers that might be interested in getting experience points and all. There'll still be a full overview, a full maybe one pager for anyone who doesn't understand what Zilly is about. I'll be putting that out probably as a thread on Twitter too. So that's majorly the update. We have about I think 3 new articles waiting to be published, or about 3 or 4. And yeah, we're still making more content. Before the end of the month, I think we should be the whole process, and I'll be quite comfortable with letting in a few more Scribblers. So probably put something on that out too. Yeah, that's the update from this side.
Thanks a lot for that. Looking forward to those articles. And that makes me think there's still so much potential with Writers Work Group and Mindplex interaction. I think that definitely needs to be utilized, that potential. Make it a quick note. I'll send you some messaging on that, and I'll join the 14 UTC meeting on Friday. And then one is actually missing on the list, but I do see the Fries DeFi in the call. I didn't put the educational work group on here. Sorry to put you on the spot like this, but perhaps if you're able, could you share a little bit on what's the plan there?
So, as you know, I've kind of been out of the loop for the last 4 weeks or so. So, I don't have much to share on that. Just getting back into things. Coming back into the fold today, pretty much. So, I look forward to an update next week. How about that?
Perfect. So then, well, just because, next town hall will be on a week from now. So then, will next week's Education Guild meeting take place?
Yes, we'll have it scheduled regularly again for Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern time, which I think is 19 UTC, if I'm calling correctly.
It is, yes. Yeah, great to hear. Awesome.
Fantastic. And good to be back.
Good to have you back.
Welcome back, dude.
Then with just a quick reminder on importing the public calendar into your Google account, so you never have to skip a meeting. It's also in the link down in the video description. Then we'll move on.
In terms of the Education Guild, I put together like I put it in the Education Guild thing, and if anybody wants to look at it, it's like a e-learning course demo. So that was something that we had talked about in previous meetings, and then it took me a little while to finish it, but it's kind of like a concept. So if it's something that we want to like develop further, we could, or even like put into the like deep funding, because it's a lot of work. Like that was probably like a week's worth of doing a lot of stuff. So like it would require, a lot of time, probably more like a deep funding thing, but that's a possibility if we want to go that direction.
Nice, man. That's great.
Yeah, sounds very interesting. I need to check. And time-wise, might be actually quite a good moment. Deep funding spinning up. I'm not sure if there's a public date right now, but shortly, like weeks, not months. So yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was curious about that, like what the timeline was on that. Okay.
I think about 2 weeks ish.
Okay.
And well, for a little bit of context on that, there's also because of the summer period and the relatively low engagement, the submission period for this deep funding round will be I think 2 weeks longer than previous rounds had. So yeah, it's not like 2 weeks from now everything needs to be completely settled. There's room. All right.
You know what deep funding is, Chris?
Say that again, sorry. Do I know what deep funding is?
Yes.
Yes, I've been looking into it. So it's what you guys call, I suppose, the what others may call a startup granting fund for protocols to build applications that are compatible with the mission that you're trying to deliver. Is that about right?
It's a very impressive answer. Yeah.
So in fact, actually, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. I might have a project that's of interest to you that could be entitled to deep funding, but that's a conversation for another day.
Definitely, dude. Sounds great.
Yeah, cool. Well, on the topic, halfway down the slide, this Thursday at 19 UTC, there's a deep funding town hall meeting. Might be interesting to join in on that one, or send that contact to join in. These are also recorded, so if the timing isn't optimal, you can always watch the recording. Yeah, then a couple of it's a couple of mentions. Let's put it like that. Earlier today, I was quite optimistic that for today already we could get both Rejuve and Sophiaverse set up to integrate with the ambassador program. But in discussion, it turned out that it would be quite a decent approach to have a little bit of preparation before just diving in and setting up infrastructures, which later might need to be changed or ported to another spot on dwork. And right now, the approach would be to get a couple of like a workshop sessions with these projects to properly align on mission, vision, what their expectations are, how they want to balance team control versus full community control, what type of tasks they're looking to do. That basically just to get a well-organized start of integration. So it was a bit disappointing to not right now be able to screen share into dwork and say like, there's tons of tasks for both Rejuve and Sophiaverse. But at the same time, the moment they will be on there, the structure and the setup will be a solid foundation. And then a quick reminder on Sophiaverse KYC closing for those interested. I think it's about 12 hours from now. 14 hours from now, it will close. And I was just on Twitter, and I did want to call it out because I think it's awesome. There's a Mindplex community podcast episode is coming out shortly. It doesn't say an exact date, but it's hosted by Mielo Liero, and Charles Hoskinson is the guest. So yeah, it's a pretty nice one, and might also be interesting to, for example, for the video work group. I'm quite sure there's going to be lots of clips to be taken from that episode. That wraps up the mentions from my side. Then I do want to, as one of the topics to cover during the open round, it's not really open if I start with a topic, but I squished it in here on the slides, regarding organizational memory. Esther was intending to join, Esther Gaddafi was intending to join this call, but wasn't able to. I think she'll be on next week. And she's trying to figure out, in light of SingularityNet community DAO, how we, on a very high level, how to deal with organizational memory and what kind of information flows are going where, what should be captured. This clearly overlaps with the work the archival work group is doing. Let me quickly check. I did see Fly, if I'm correct. Yeah, I saw you post on the Ambassador General channel on Discord.
Yeah.
So I would like to push everybody to take a read there and contribute to the discussion. So that perhaps next week during Town Hall, I think we should reserve like I'm not sure, 15 or 30-minute slot, but reserve a slot for that discussion. And yeah, it's just way better if Esther is around in the call, because she's heading this initiative. But yeah, did want to call that out. Yeah, that makes it time to open up to the room. Are there any topics we should be discussing? Judith, go for it.
For people that are coming new into the Discord, where do they find the event calendar? Because I can't see any link on the Discord or any mention on the Discord of the calendar. I was always wondering, how do people find it?
I would hope it is in the Getting Started channel, because that is the place to get started. Yeah,
okay.
it is in there.
Yeah, it's in the ambassador main one, and then it's just one of the items in there. It's kind of hard to find, but
That's a bit hidden. Would maybe make sense to make it like a standalone link?
Sure.
Because I remember when I joined, I was looking for a calendar link for the longest time. And I didn't even start with the Get Started channel. But yeah, it's a bit hidden.
Okay.
Maybe makes sense to put it somewhere at the top.
Yeah, we should plaster it all over the place, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
we want people on all the calls. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Can definitely, pin it around in like in the welcome channel, in the SingularityNet about channel. There's plenty of spaces where it feels fitting to pin.
Yeah, there's just so many tabs now that it's a bit difficult to find things. Lots of information, but yeah. Also, the marketing guide, is this usually happening every 2 weeks, or? Because I was trying to join last week. Marketing is usually happening every week, isn't it?
Well, I think we used to have weekly and then later bi-weekly marketing guild sessions. But I think about a month ago, maybe a month and a half, was decided to purely have that action happen in both the video and in the writers work group. So right now there's no dedicated marketing guild sessions.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so marketing. So writers work group would be the one to join if you wanted to do anything around marketing. Is that what it is? Writers and video work group?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, broadly speaking, there's still the marketing guild channel on the guild section. Yeah, that's it. Makes me wonder if we should reinstigate marketing guild sessions.
Yeah, perhaps that could be a good move if there's enough like critical mass, like three people, I think is like minimum, and then see what packs on after that. We used to have a marketing meeting before and then after the 2 work group meetings on Friday. But it's something like, if you would like to just find a time that fits into the calendar and invite people. It's a community. We're very open to kind of self-organization, and so if you need some help, let us know. If you're thinking about it, you can put it in the chat and see how many people respond. And all it needs is like a question like this, like should we have it again? And then poof, it can come into existence.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
And thank you. Good comments. Well, back to the room. Any questions? Any topics we should be touching on? Any random thoughts you feel like sharing? The floor would be yours.
I mean, I've got quite a few questions, but you did mention at the beginning of the call nothing technical or fundamental in nature. So, I mean, maybe I'll leave them for next week when I follow up with Fly and whoever else will be joining in. But I thought I'd follow up on the marketing. Actually, find that quite interesting that there isn't a marketing guild at the moment. So, maybe in relation to marketing, of course, there's so many different applications that are working in synergy with SingularityNet right now. For example, Sophieverse and Awakening Health. So do these other applications, do they take care of their own marketing, or is this something that comes from the community of SingularityNet, in a collaborative effort?
Well, yeah, for a bit of context, the marketing guild we mentioned would be the marketing guild within the ambassador program, and that's separate from SingularityNet Foundation, and pretty much all the spin-offs and the foundation itself as well do have dedicated marketing teams. There was specifically in regard to the ambassador program.
Right, okay.
Basically, the output we were having was basically either written or video. So that's why these two work groups, which are still having weekly meetings, that's kind of where the energy went.
Okay.
And in light of, well, as you started out with technical questions, a bit depending on time, but
sure.
For sure, you can also cover that. And if it's
well, actually, I think Kenichi has a question. Maybe let Kenichi go first, maybe before I ask mine.
Thanks. Peter, I just wanted to ask that are we going with Tuesday for the quizzes? It will be happening on the Discord. We'll probably need to create a Discord channel for that. Would Tuesday be a good day for that to start? Yeah. Going on, or we should just hold off till the call on Friday to discuss it?
Well, it kind of depends on what exactly we're talking about with quizzes. You mean quizzes to, like, we had one during town halls. You mean like that, or just on social media, or what kind of?
It's on a Discord channel. It's just have its own Discord channel, and everyone will get the ping when it's time for the quiz to start. It's just we all get the questions, and you pick the answer, and then we see the answer afterwards. And they're like we can have like 10 questions, 15 questions, and we'll just keep a leaderboard score for like each week. So yeah.
And then you intend to have this quiz as part of the town hall?
No, before the town hall. It will be before the town hall in the Discord channel. It won't be. Okay. And yeah, we'll just let people know about the topic. Maybe we'll probably announce the topic on Friday in the same Discord channel, so everyone knows that okay, on Friday, this is the topic for the quiz coming up next week Tuesday or next Tuesday.
Is the purpose to test knowledge or have fun or something else?
Yeah, it's both. Use it to test people's knowledge on latest updates or maybe past milestones, and at the same time, people can also come and have fun, and they also get probably like we can just put like a little bit of a Ajax reward on for first, second, and third, and then the rest get experience points. Yeah, so it's a really fun way to engage people in the community, and everybody gets to share knowledge about whatever topic we pick for the week. Yeah.
We do have this half-an-hour slot before town hall, which you may want to use there, perhaps.
Yeah. It's not going to take that long. Probably just thinking maybe for the first round we can do 10 to 15 questions and see how the community takes it. So yeah, and that would be for Vanny. That would be for next week, Tuesday. Not this probably announce the topic on Friday. Let you guys know what the topic is going to be, the area of focus. Because I already have a couple of questions drafted from each ecosystem project or spin-offs, and we just look for which will probably I don't want to say, but probably a Sophiaverse. But yeah, we just pick something to focus on and expect the quiz on Tuesday. Announce the time and the channel a couple of days before that. So yeah, probably tackle all that during the call on Friday.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, sure thing.
Nice. I also have a game which I'd like to play, perhaps. I'll prep, then we'll see. Yeah, man. Sounds cool.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah, Chris, if you have any questions right now, I'm kind of wondering whether not to include it in the town hall recording, depending a little bit on the topic, I guess.
Well, I mean,
go for it.
yeah, it'll be sort of mostly related around tokenomics. I mean, I doubt we got enough time for me to actually go through all the questions. I thought, but first though, I'd mention. So as I said to you at the beginning of the call, Peter, I was invited to the pre-town hall meeting for today, which didn't take place. But I would have, even if it did take place, I would have struggled to find it because in the description on the calendar, it doesn't state where in the Discord this takes place, which channel on the server. And if it is on Zoom, for example, like this is, there's no Zoom link. So maybe the description could be edited to include more information, just so people like myself know where to look. So I mean, when auditing projects, one of the most important factors is always the tokenomics I find. I'm not sure if this is the right place to ask a kind of question about tokenomics. I've looked through every iteration of the white paper on numerous occasions. Something that's always been lacking is a bit of detail, especially relating to the deflationary mechanism. It's been stated that there will be one, but there's no mention of how it's implemented, when it will be implemented, that kind of thing. So I wonder if you guys have some information regarding that.
No, I would need to look that up. What kind of deflationary mechanism you're referring to right now?
Well, I mean, different protocols have different methods. Some use buybacks, which they send to a burn wallet. Some incorporate smart contracts into the transactions where they distribute a percentage or a set amount of transaction fees, again, to a burn wallet. Some it'll be decided by a DAO, again, for either a buyback or to set a rate for smart contracts. So there's different methods and variations in its form that it can be implemented. But I think for something like AGIX, especially because it's such a long vesting period of well, it's not 91 years anymore. I think it's 89 years now. But a deflationary mechanism of some kind, I think, would be very important, especially to bring on board more retail interest. But again, like I said, I don't know if this is the right place to ask that kind of question or
well, I mean, the answer is I think is pretty straightforward, that this is not in place. There is no deflation, but that's why I was wondering, like if you saw a specific mention of it, I can look into it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can find the specific page and the white papers that I looked at. I believe it's on both the 2019 and 2021 versions. But yeah, I can find it and I can send. I mean, because I know who you are on Discord now, so I can tag you.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm happily I'm happy to discuss. Absolutely, it's just top of mind. I'm not aware of any. I'm quite aware there is no burn mechanism.
Okay.
And buybacks, I think that I would be. Well, I wouldn't mind checking, but right now, top of mind, I wouldn't be able to.
It doesn't seem to fit in with the ethos, I think, of Singularity, what you're trying to achieve. You're not a pump and dump token. So yeah, I'd be surprised if the foundation does buybacks.
No, but yeah, as said, happy to check. I don't have the full white paper, either version. I don't have fully memorized, so yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've been through. I think I've been through all three of them at least 10 times each so far, just to try and get a grasp of understanding about what it is that that you guys are offering. So, yeah, honestly, the Singularity, I absolutely love it. It's so fascinating. It's incredible what you're doing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how things develop. And I'm really hoping that there will be some form of synergy or value that I can add to the community or whatever form. So, whether it comes to ideas of the DAO structure moving forward, whether it can be a tokenomic structure if you're looking for upgrades, that kind of thing. So, there's certain areas that I can help with for sure, if the help is wanted or needed.
Yeah, fair. Well, definitely interested in exploring further. Yeah, and on the DAO side of things. we tend to be really open to community input. So if you want to contribute, we can't stop you. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've seen some really interesting concepts of a DAO construction. I don't know if construction is the right word, but a DAO implementation may be a better word. So yeah, maybe some interesting ideas I could certainly share if they haven't already been considered anyway.
Well, we're right now in the process of over time moving the foundation to DAO. I'm not sure if you read anything about that effort.
Yes, yeah, I know that you have a specific SC DAO paper. I think you actually shared that to me last week, actually. So of course, because of it's a PDF file, it doesn't say at what level, what stage you're at in the progression, unlike what maybe a Git book would provide, where you can update it live. But yeah, so I'm very curious about what stage you're at in that progression, because I know that a DAO is not something you want to rush into. A lot of people, they want DAOs because decentralization sounds great, but it's not a perfect model. It takes a lot of trial and error, and it takes time to build it right. And I'd say that out of all the DAOs I've come across, there's probably only 2 or 3 that I think work. At least at this current stage. So yeah, definitely not something to be rushed into. So you're doing the right thing and taking your time and building it out the right way, I think.
Yeah, man, it's great to have that healthy skepticism. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a structure that's going to be in place for decades. So yeah.
Well, according to the tokenomics, mate, it should be at least until the next century.
Well, right now, to give a, it's not really an. Right now, it's internally it's on hold for, or not externally it's on hold. Internally, we're working on getting a few legal perspectives sorted on how to even proceed from here. That should. I'm optimistic on that being resolved within about a week. With a grain of salt, that could be 2 weeks, but yeah, something like this. And then the next step would be we'll be moving into the supervisory council election, and that will be a part of a temporary about 6-month trajectory, where there's like a group of people working towards, after 6 months, getting the actual DAO going.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a 2-step approach there.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense of the right way forward. Yeah.
Cool. Looking at the clock, we're hitting the hour mark. Are there any further things we should be touching on right now?
Not from me today. I'll wait until next week.
All good. I see no raised hands. I do see raised sunglasses. Fly.
Nice to meet you guys. Good to see you. Hope you come join in. We need this skepticism. It's good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always welcome. Diversity of views is, well, what gets you further. So yeah, good stuff. Thanks all for joining. And I guess on the Process Guild meeting, which is taking place right after this, it feels like uncertain if it's actually taking place today. So I think the simplest is to check the Process Guild Discord channel if you're interested in joining that. And yeah, with that, thanks again, everybody, for joining, and hope to see you on the next one.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to meet you all.
Likewise.
Thank you. See you next week.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.